Hello, the wind has decided to get involved again. It was perfectly still when I came out before, and now the wind keeps going, hi, I am also here. I think I'm a wind magnet, which is not a superpower that I particularly want. So I apologise for that because I appreciate that it is annoying on the mic. I do need to be more professional at some point and set up inside or somewhere where the wind is not such a problem. I am not likely to be more professional this year. Let's pencil it in for next year and see what happens. Now, it is all weaving this week. I do have plans to do some sewing, as I keep saying. But again, pencil that in for next year because I need to clean off my table so I've got room to cut out a dress. And that is such a big, daunting task that I am hardcore procrastinating on it. I look at it and I think I might just regrout the bathroom instead. It will be quicker and easier. So it's just weaving this week. I do have sewing that I want to do. We'll see if I ever get to it or if I will just continue to talk about it forever. This, however, has been wet finished and I'm so happy with it. So I'll show you close up because it is beautifully balanced. The bloom did exactly what I wanted it to do. And you can see that it is a nice, even looking plain weave with the colours doing magic colour things. So bloom, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't heard me talk about it before, which is unlikely because I waffle on about it quite a lot. When you weave a piece, you have little gaps between your warp and your weft and you wash it. And if the yarn is a natural fibre, it will bloom. And that just means expand to fill those gaps. And that gives you that beautiful, even looking weave. There are still gaps there, but they're much smaller now and everything has meshed nicely. It's not finished until it's wet finished. So I'll show you the length. I'm going to try and do this in a way where I'm not dropping the end too far because I have a couple of chickens who are quite curious about what I'm doing. So yeah, really, really happy with this one. I have forgotten once again to bring the yarn labels out with me for this one. I will put it in the description again because it's two different yarns from two different indie dyers. They've got the bright one, you can see that the fringe is a little bit bright. Got the bright one for the warp and then the darker one for the weft. And look how pretty that is. That's come out so nicely. And it is really, really soft and has a beautiful drape. I'll do my usual drape test, which is just to do that at you. Nice drape. So that is done. That is ready to go. Now, I do have something on the little loom. I don't have anything on the big loom, but I'll get the little loom, which I've brought out with me. The big loom is currently unoccupied because I don't know if I've mentioned, but I'm trying to clear my table so I can do some sewing. And the only place I can keep the big loom when it's got weaving on it is on that table. So I haven't got anything on the big loom at the minute, but I am just going to go over there and get the little loom. It's going to be such a good edit you won't even notice. Hang on. Okay, here we go. So this is the little loom as it stands. Now these two yarns were just sitting on the front of my shelf stash. I have multiple stash locations in my house. It's not ideal, it really isn't. I've got a shelving unit next to my table and I've got some plastic tubs that have some sorted yarn in them and I bought 6 of those and thought that that would be enough, and it's not enough because I've also got a basket and a couple of bags. Anyway, the important thing is the shelf stash, which is next to my table, and these two yarns were sitting at the front of it. I don't know why, because I'd taken all the yarn off at one point looking for something, put them all back on, and these two were sitting next to each other and I thought, you know, that'll probably work. And I have the labels. So I'll show you again close up. So the warp, this dark warp here, is Malabrigo and it is Rios Vulcan, like that. And this one here, which is the weft, is, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's by Patterns, or Patons, Patterns. It's a sock yarn. How would you pronounce that? Paternile? Paternile. Artistry. So that is a hand dyed. I don't know that it is. Oh, it says hand dyed by artisans. So would they lie to me? Probably. So that's quite an interesting colour shift for me because it's a long shift in the warp, but quite a short shift in the weft. Same yarn. I've just got this patch in here for visual interest because I wasn't sure also if I had enough of this darker one to do the whole width. I had heaps, it would have been fine. And this is quite fresh on the loom. The hem stitching is just there. It's just there. I haven't been I haven't been fully busy, like I haven't been busy, but I've had a lot of little things to do that eat up time. So this is just a plain weave. I'm letting the colours do their thing. And that's how it looks on the shuttle. It's quite nice. I really like the grey against the orange, but we'll see how that goes on. I like the little stripe effect that it's giving me without the effort of actually putting stripes in. It should be quite nice when it's done. We'll see. And when it is done, I'm hoping that when this comes off tension, we'll get more of the dark effect in the stripes. But we'll see. We'll find out maybe next week, maybe not next week, but we'll see. Now I'm going to put this down again because I want to talk to you about my triangle again. I will not shut up about my triangle. Hang on one second. So I have been having a little bit of a play with the triangle loom, which means that this came off, which it was supposed to, I asked it to. And the tutorials that I saw that said that you absolutely must immediately secure all of your top loops, I don't know what they're talking about, because the top loops, you might be able to see there, are already secured by that top thread. Those are not going to pull out. This edge might pull out if I'm not careful, but I'm going to be careful, so it's fine. The only exception to those ones are the ones where I made a mistake. You might be able to see there, that's not secured. And that's just because instead of going over under, I either went over or under. I didn't go around the top thread like I was supposed to. There's another one here. So a couple of mistakes there. So this hasn't been wet finished, but it is off the loom. You can tell because it's floppy and I can do that. So what is on the loom is another practice piece, because I don't want to jump into my good yarn until I am very, very sure that I know what I'm doing. So I'll show you what I've got on the triangle at the minute. It is another magic ball project. So if you're new to the channel or you haven't heard me waffle on about my magic ball before, it is leftovers and scraps tied together in random order. I don't try and match colours or anything like that. And then when I have enough, this is not quite enough to make anything major, but it's enough for triangle weaving. When I have enough, I make something out of it. So I've woven with it, I crochet with it. I've got a blanket in progress that's made out of magic ball. So this is just practice with my scraps, my scrap practice. Just wanting to make sure that I really can get a perfect triangle out of this without any dodgy bits happening at the top or the sides before I jump into my good yarn. The other thing I'm considering, I was going to say thinking about, my brain changed its mind, didn't tell my face. So the other thing I'm a little bit concerned about is the set, which is the number of threads in each direction. Because it is quite an open weave with yarn of this thickness. So do I order another one of these with a finer set? Probably not. Or do I just go with an open weave? Probably going to do that one. Because I don't want to spend another $76 on postage. Thanks though, thanks for the offer. The great thing about this for using the magic ball is knots don't matter. So I've got a little knot there because it's all tied together with magic knots. Now, knots like that on the rigid heddle loom are fine in the weft, the side to side, no good in the up and down because they can't take the tension and they will unravel and you will snap a warp thread and then you'll have to say so many swear words. So it's just a time saver to not have to do that. So yeah, basically that's what I'm working on with the triangle loom. This I can do in bed, this I did do in bed. And you can sort of see, because it's not finished, you can sort of see how the construction works maybe, in that you weave down that side, you pull it across because you have a loop, and then when you bring that loop back up, it's already woven. Brilliant. And then you just weave, it's fantastic. So you can see that it forms at the edges towards the middle and then you're done. So I might have more triangles to show you next week. I don't know what I'm going to do with my triangles, possibly a blanket. I don't need to make a blanket's worth of triangles before I use my good yarn, but this would be handy to just have, just to make blankets, no, just to make triangles, over time. And then when I have enough, I can make a blanket or a scarf or a shawl or curtains or a bedspread. I'm going to go before I have too many good ideas and not enough time to do them. Some of those ideas were not good though, were they? Let's be honest. You take care of yourself, have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.